and welcome to the latest Intelligence Insights brief from At Risk International's Global Risk Intelligence team. I'm Ross Hill, Director of Intelligence, and with me today is Roman Fischer, one of our protective intelligence analysts. Starting you off today, India, which is the world's largest exporter of rice, banned all exports of non-basmati white rice. That's actually about 50% of its total rice exports. They've done this to try and reduce domestic rice prices, but it comes quite soon after Russia withdrew from the deal that allowed Ukrainian food exports. Russia then targeted ports in Ukraine and food storage sites in Ukraine with missile strikes and said it would consider any ship leaving Ukrainian ports as a military target. So we now have increasing expectations of rising rice and wheat prices. And actually, wheat prices have increased substantially in the past few days following Russia's activity. Hardest hit from the rice ban is likely to be countries such as Bangladesh and Nepal, as well as a few sub-Saharan African countries, including Benin, Angola, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, and Kenya, where we've actually seen some violent protests over various issues, including food prices in the last couple of weeks, and there's more protests planned. We're seeing several pressures to food supplies globally at the moment, war, extreme weather, and rising domestic prices in some of the major food exporting countries. And for example, we might see China have to increase its rice and wheat exports over concerns of its own domestic supplies of rice and wheat being damaged by extreme weather events. If China increases its imports, then it will limit the ability of other countries to import foodstuffs. So at the moment, we can't really get away from the threat of serious civil unrest because of high food prices, so more protests expected. And now I'll hand you over to Roman Fischer.
Thank you, Ross. For those who study extremism, social media has allowed a far easier view into extremist groups and their ideologies. However, social media also presents new challenges and difficulties for researchers. The authors of a recent article by the RAND Corporation suggest that studying extremism via social media hasn't provided many answers to fundamental questions. Questions such as, how big is the problem? Is it getting worse? Are social media platforms responsible? And how do some people become violent? RAND claims that although social media allows for easier access to extremism, researchers are no closer to solid answers because this type of research is easy to do poorly and hard to do well. The challenges of studying extremism through social media activity falls into three categories: users, platforms, and content. The first challenge facing social media research is that users do not equal people. Because social media accounts can be machine generated, accounts can be maintained by many people, or a single person can maintain multiple profiles. This makes it difficult to determine demographic details such as age, gender, and location, which might lead to more concrete conclusions about extremist groups and their followers. The second challenge is that platforms are dynamic and opaque. Researchers struggle with having access to too much data and not enough data at the same time. Simply put, the amount of available data is staggering. However, it can be useless due to several factors. A key factor among this is that platforms operate on unique programming architecture that can make extrapolating useful information from all the noise a near impossible task. The third challenge is caused by an inconsistent idea of what extremism is and what qualifies as extremist content. This introduces a degree of ambiguity because researchers may disagree on qualifying criteria, thereby obstructing cooperation or validation of previous work. Finally, RAND states that without a common standard for what qualifies as extremist content, researchers often apply their own definitions, making it difficult to come to a consensus or create overlapping analyses. And that's what we have for you this week. We do appreciate you coming by and spending a little bit of time with us. We hope to see you again soon.